purpose and overview of the deadlift, go through anatomy and the differences in humans and how it relates to how they deadlift, the focal points of what the deadlift exercises and trains and requires. Then after we talk about all of the physiological stuff, we're going to assess our hips and do a couple of different basic assessments, the lying hamstring raise and the bend and reached, because you're going to have to bend over and get that deadlift, whether it's a barbell or a kettlebell or anything else. So we're going to assess what level of depth you should be lifting from and figure out the right place to start for you. If you've been deadlifting for a while, hopefully you already know, but if you don't, it'll be a little educational. Then we're going to go through movement, interventions, warm-ups, and things to improve the function of the hip. And we'll retest and see how it affects our hip assessment. And then we're going to apply all of these things together and use them to do some deadlifts. And we're going to do a small deadlift workout where you can integrate some of these skills that you learned today and get better at them and kick ass at life. So, let's begin. Coach Josh, you all know me. The purpose of the deadlift is to build strength and muscle in most cases, but the deadlift does a couple of things that I think a lot of people don't know about. Number one, the deadlift requires so much energy because you're using all of the muscles of the posterior chain and really the whole body. It's a very core-centric movement, so that action of hoisting a weight off the floor of any load it takes quite a bit of energy to go through that properly. So it burns a lot of calories. And at the same time, the action of training your hips to extend, uniting the core and the legs together, it does a lot of work for posture. Hip extension is something that all of us need to train because most of us sit during the day to execute our jobs. So we're constantly in hip flexion, getting shortened hip flexors, getting dominant hip flexors. So a properly executed deadlift is sort of the medicine, the antidote to the daily life that a lot of us lead. So the deadlift is great for posture. It's great for core strength. It's great for building muscle and strength in the posterior chain. So hamstrings, glutes, traps, grip. It's good for self-esteem. Who's ever hit a heavy weight on the deadlift or PR and thought, damn, I'm good? It's just me. Okay.
Good. After I do it, period, whatever.
Right. So the deadlift does a lot for us. And it's something that is relatively simple to use because all it involves is picking a weight up off of the floor. I'm going to go into a little bit of anatomy, so I'm going to get a volunteer to be my anatomy dummy. So Joe, you're just staring at me, so this is going to be Joe. So stand here, face the wall. So Joe is showing us the anterior chain. So this is the front side of his body. Go ahead and spin around. The back side of his body. This is what we're training with the deadlift. So triceps, traps, mid-back, lats, glutes, hamstring, calves, to some degree. If you've never felt the pull of the deadlift of your calf, well, you will soon. So sometimes people don't understand exactly how much your whole posterior chain is involved. The reason why the deadlift, the bar, the load stays close to you is because of the effort of the lats. So you have to use the lat to execute the deadlift properly. But these are the muscles that we're going to be focused on today. In addition to the obliques, the core is going to be a huge component of what we're working on as we go through how do we use our hips and how do we do a really good job at integrating the entire body into the deadlift. Awesome, thanks. High five. Just give Joe a round of applause.
Woo! Hot Joe, come through.
All right. So that's an overview of what the deadlift does, what it trains. Now we're going to look at hips and hip assessments. We're going to break it to partners so that we can have some fun with this. So Stila and Pete, Amber, Miranda, Joe, and Dave, you're going to be partners, and we're going to do a couple of hip assessments, and I'll show you what we're looking for. So, it's my alter ego, or my super ego. I don't know.
Josh wishes.
So I'm here, and we're doing a lie hamstring raise. So I'm going to lift up my leg, and I'm going to raise it as high as I can. If you start to bend your knee, that's not it. So some people will be stuck here. Some people will be able to go to 120 degrees. A little tight today. I might have done some deadlifts before this. So you're going to raise and hold, and then you're just going to stop there. Your partner's going to hold the stick straight up, and will hold it where your knee ends. That's locked out, so you can see what your angle is of your, actually not where your knee ends, where your foot ends. So you can see about how far you can lift that foot without breaking integrity. And they're going to be different. Your left and right might be a little different, and that's okay. So Joe, get us some PVC pipes from over there. And then first, I want partner A to lay down, partner B to hold the stick. And then I want to get a look at everybody's hip. So, yeah, so if you don't have a stick in your hand, you're lying down on your back. And you're, okay, so go ahead and right where that lateral malleolus is, the bone of the ankle, that's where you're going to stop. Okay, great. And you're going to hold it there. We're just going to hold it there for a second. And then once you have that Stila,
Yes.
so get that locked. Good. And you're going to switch up.
Yep.
So you don't move the stick, Stila.
Okay.
Pete's going to move his. He's going to go to the other foot. So you're going to see how it compares to the other side.
Wow.
So there you go. Lift.
So
Good. Nice. And then now go to the other side. Don't move it. There you go. Okay.
The person with the stick does not move. The person with the stick stays on the first side,
Yeah.
as opposed to what's happening right now.
One more time. Sorry about that.
Everybody relax. Watch me and Pete.
All right.
So here's all we're doing. All right, right leg up. I'm going to find the lateral malleolus. Stop the stick. Great, good. Left leg up. Now, he's surpassed by about 4 inches. Yeah, lock out that leg. Yeah, so I just moved it to meet it. So that's about where he's at. Now, other foot up. Yeah, that's okay. So then, got it. Go ahead and rest. So you've got the further of the two legs on one side of the body. You're just taking notice that the highest that person can reach with the locked leg. So now partner B is going to go. So far, has anybody got to 90 degrees yet? Yeah. Okay, so the knee has to be locked in. So go ahead and put that to 20 degrees and see if we can do that. That is locked for me.
Okay.
Whoa.
So the stick stays. Oh, here.
Alright, switch it up there. You're going to stay on that side, Joe? So you're not.
Okay. We're just kind of looking at it.
So,
Right? Good.
Move it to right. Let's see.
You've got a little more range in your left leg.
Keep that right leg locked.
That's fine.
Alright.
Usually my leg is not. Always cramping that left.
Still get more strength.
Right?
Yeah, you're definitely a little bit more on your left.
Okay. Awesome. Go ahead and relax.
Well, I think it's probably pretty common.
Okay, is everybody getting an assessment? Who's really good at this? Who's somebody who can get pretty far? Let me see.
I think. I'm always like, I'm better.
Okay, so lock out that knee for me, Stila. There you go. Go back. Nice, 90 degrees. Is that as high as you can go there?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's like 95 degrees.
Just like
Awesome.
everybody's left, right is higher.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's crazy because my left is always kind of, so it goes with this one.
So I want to do a little test on you, Stila.
Okay.
Go ahead and lie down.
Sorry.
So reach your hands up, straight up ahead. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to put you're gonna get over there because you're gonna measure, but get on this side so you can measure away from the camera. So I want you to push really hard into my hands. So hard.
Okay.
Hard.
Okay.
Like, as hard as you can. Like I'm gonna drag your whole body, right? Is that as hard as you can push?
Yeah.
Okay, now lift up your leg as high as you can. Whoa, it's past 90 degrees. Dope. Good, relax. Nice. Lock out that right knee though. Awesome. Good, and relax. So she added about 3 or 4 inches on the right, a couple inches on the left. Magic! What was the difference?
Resistance.
Yes, which created core engagement. Dang.
Extension of the leg. How did that happen?
So, just by activating the core, she freed up her hip. Okay? Now, I want your partner to try that with one another, so you can see, no matter whether you're 45 degrees like Dave or 90 degrees like Stila, everybody improves their hip flexion with core engagement. Right? Give it a shot. So create some back tension. So here, all the stick. You're gonna partner up, and you're gonna apply some leverage.
Do you want this, Josh? Do you want this or?
Okay, push as hard as you can. Good. Nice. Right leg locked. Good. Relax this leg.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Try it.
Yeah, harder. Push harder.
Come on, I got you.
Good. Other side.
That one looks a lot bigger here, pretty high.
Good. All right, relax. So, looks like you got a right oblique problem. Cool. And that says something.
Great, I got a right here from. Awesome.
So guess what, warriors? The bigger the discrepancy between the left and right hip, the bigger the discrepancy of strength on your left and right oblique. So you know now what your strong side is and what your weak side is. Go for it, Brandon. Okay, about 80 degrees, good. Other side. More. Nice. About 85 degrees here. Good. Yeah. Dun dun dun. All right. Now we're gonna go through the breathing drills.
Okay.
So we can pause that and then.